Welcome guys to another medieval battle with Midnight Games Online. We are playing Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD, the free mod for Total War Attila. Today we have the Battle on the Ice. This is a historical battle fought between the Rus and the Livonian Order with their allies from the Kingdom of Denmark. We're going to do the army compositions now, guys, in this 2 versus 2 early era land battle. For those of you that want to skip ahead to the fighting itself, just click the timestamp in the description below and you'll be taken straight to the action. For everyone else, let's go through the unit compositions. First, we will go through the armies of the Rus. It will be a little hard to see where one army begins and the other ends, and vice versa, but the first player here is Coastal Plays. So we'll try to weed out what is his army and go through that. I do believe this was his general over here on the side. This is the general's bodyguard here. Again, this is a early era battle, so the 13th century armor is the latest armor we will see on the field. And there are the general's bodyguard. He does bring the max three cav besides the general. These are the senior Druzina. Very nice looking unit. And he's got 2 more of those. And some of them have gold chevrons, or one of them at least has gold chevrons attached, as well as his general's bodyguard. And the gold chevrons are just a sign of extra experience points added. He does bring these units here, the Bohemian Spearmen. They are mercenaries. A nice look at them up close here with the armor, 13th century armor. Second unit, a third unit over here. And I do believe this is still his army. We are playing on large armies. And these are the heavy smurred spearmen. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those units for his army here. In the second row, he does bring some mercenary Bohemian crossbowmen. And we can see them right here. And he's got at least 4 that I can see of the missiles. Yes, 4 missiles. And in the back, he has these medium melee infantry. I'm not going to try to pronounce that here, but they are pretty cool looking. Wearing some chainmail, some open-faced helms, some of them with the nasal guard, and some melee weapons and round shields. And we see a second and a third unit of those, a 4th, 5th, and then a 6th. And in the back, he does bring the guard Berdouche axemen. So we'll take a look. These are his shock infantry. Kiev with some pretty decent shock infantry in the early era. Some of them with the lamellar armor, and some of them with chainmail. So that looks to be his army. We'll move on to his ally, also controlling the Rus. This is M. Donalavi. And his general over here, this will be Alexander Nevsky, who led the Rus forces. And there we see him at the front of that unit here with the straight edge sword, lamellar armor, that kite looking shield. Very cool unit with his bodyguard. And then we do see some senior Druzina with some extra chevrons. So he's got the max of 3 cav as well. His army in the front, we've already seen most of these units. He does bring the mercenary Bohemian spears. I see 3 of those, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They are medium spear infantry, and we have seen those already. He brings some slightly better swords here, the dismounted Druzina. These are medium melee infantry, and they are quite a nice looking unit here, pretty sharp. And though they're only a medium melee infantry, they are pretty tough to get off the field. They have pretty decent stats. So there's a 3rd, 4th, how many do we have here? 5, and a 6th that he seems to bring. Again, it's hard to tell where one army begins and the other ends a little bit. And when the battle gets underway, it'll be really hard to tell. But we do have 3 and 4, looks like Bohemian crossbows. And then in the back here, we do have the Garberdouche axemen as well. And here's a look. All right, guys, now we're going to go over to the other side. And over here we do have myself. I am playing as what is supposed to be the Livonian Order. It's the Teutonic Order in this mod. The Livonian Order was a smaller branch of knights that was eventually annexed into the Teutonic Order. There's the bodyguard of the general. And in the back we do have the Schwertbrüder, or the Sword Brothers. Whoops, we missed them. There we go. And we can see the sword on their shield. Some of them do have swords, as we can see over here. This warrior has a sword, and it seems to be, yeah, right there, but it seems to be that a lot of them with different types of weapons, like this wooden mace with a steel head there. So 3 units of these, and they are quite heavy melee infantry. One of them with an experience point added. And then we are looking at the actual Teutonic knights mounted on their horses, and just an intimidating faction, the Teutonic Order they were. And we do have a second one and a third one over there, over on the side. So I'm also bringing the max of 3 cav. We do have some shock infantry. These are the Fußknechte. They are medium shock infantry. And they don't have any shields, but they do have some two-handed weapons. And the second line here, some weaker swords. We had the heavy melee back there, the Sword Brothers. These are the Samlander swordsmen, medium melee infantry. And these guys, well, pretty much down to a man, have swords. Nice scale mail here. And some chain mail is what I see. So we have 3 units of those. And then in the front, we do have some spears. So these are the Fußknechte spears. Very nice looking with the Teutonic Order designs here. And I see at least 6, yes, 6 of them. And in the front, I do bring the max of the 4 missiles. These are the Livonian Order crossbowmen. So there we go with the Livonian Order. And it's fitting that those are the Livonian Order crossbowmen, since that is who we are playing as in this battle. And over here we do have the last player, my ally. He's playing as the Kingdom of Denmark. There were some Danish forces on the field here. This is GHCSTLCN59. We'll call him C for this battle. And let's go over his army real quick. So he does bring the some knights here, heavy shock cavalry for Denmark, and silver chevrons for them. I see a second unit over there, and then a third unit over there, all with silver chevrons. And here we have somebody who definitely was not on the field, but the King of Denmark, we'll just call him the Danish general for this battle. And he is somewhere here. There we go, we see him right there with the sword. And now looking at the rest of the Danish army, these are the Brabantsen and Godendog. They do look quite nice on the field here. They're only a medium shock infantry, but if you give them a good charge, they can damage lesser infantry for sure. I see 1 unit there, a second unit here, and I do wonder if that's it. No, a third unit in the back here. So he's got 3 of those. He does bring some Brabantsen and pole arms. We can see them here. Not quite with the reach of the pikes, but they do have some reach on those polearms. And they are better on the charge than pikes are. So that's 2 units of those, which was the max as well. And then he brings the Huscarls, so let's take a look at this unit. Maybe it'll be better to look kind of this way, so we have better lighting. Medium melee infantry unit. And we see 3, 4, 5, 6 there, and some more here, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 Huscarl units. And in the front, we do have longbowmen. A quick look at the Danish longbows. Very cool looking. Very cool looking Danish longbows. And here we do have some spear Huscarls as well. So let's take a quick look at the spear Huscarls. These ones are already trying to move to the side. I think that is 5 spears. Yes, 5 spear Huscarls. So that is the army compositions, guys. And without any further ado, we are going to get into the Battle of the Ice. So let's have a quick look. And let's get this battle underway.
This is a fine day for battle. Every day is a fine day for battle when you lead men of your stripe. So we shall have victory today, men, by the gods.
And my army is moving forward here. Now, if you notice one thing, the Rus, this is 2 armies, but they're forming a solid line like one army. Whereas my ally and I, we have a giant gap here. So at this point, I am moving forward and curving kind of to the right, but there is a giant gap between our armies. So for now, I'm not sure Denmark sees that, and he is moving straight toward the enemy. And now maybe realizing that, hey, I'm kind of all alone on the side here. There's a big gap, and I'm about to get a 2-on-1 if I keep moving forward. And there is the realization, and he's now moving toward me. But unfortunately for him, the Rus have seen this, and Donalavi with Alexander Nevsky moving up here. And they are actually running their whole army forward, while this army is now shifting to the side. So kind of a scramble, a mad scramble here for Denmark. His troops have lost all formation. I'm actually sending out cavalry because the infantry will not reach this in time to help my ally. And see here with the Kingdom of Denmark in danger here. And there is Donalavi's horses. We do have his ally, also of the Rus, sending all of his cav forward. And now he is actually trying to turn some men to face this oncoming threat. And they are charging. M. Donalavi is charging. So let's take a look at Alexander Nevsky's charge. Here we go. Charging in. And a fantastic charge into the infantry.
Should we aid them?
Bowling some of them over. But on the side here we have C trying to move his own knights in. Now we have, and he does charge forward. He does charge forward. These men are pulling out here. He's trying to counter. I am moving my own knights here. My general's in the fray here, way ahead of my infantry, something that. And a big charge here, Teutonic Knights against the senior Druzina. And now it looks like in their attempt to take advantage of his poor positioning, they have left their own cav in a vulnerable position. And Nevsky now, Donalavi's general of the Rus, caught out of position and charged from both sides by Teutonic Knights as well as by the Danish. So Alexander Nevsky in huge danger here. We do have some spearmen running into the fray, but the Rus general is wavering. And I do have to pull my cav away from those spears. So just a mad scrambling over here. We do have the Rus on the other side, caught up against some pole arms. And this must be Coastal Plays trying to circle here with his own general and do some damage. And as we see now, the Rus have closed in against Denmark and they've isolated them. My cav is helping out, but my infantry is too far away. They are moving forward, but they're too far away. And here are the Teutonic Knights with the rear charge. Slamming into some of these Rus. And that Rus unit, the mercenary spears are going to break, it looks like. And I will be trying to pull these knights out, and we do break that spear unit from a fully healthy one down to 50% of the breaking. Let's take a quick look in cinematic view, guys. Teutonic Knights taking on Drazina here, with some infantry mixed in. And the Grand Master's bodyguard here, his Teutonic Knights are protecting him. He's still got a good amount of men with him, 22 men left. 22 men killed, excuse me, only 2 men have died. And another senior Drazina unit broken for Donalavi. So in their attempt to take advantage here, they may be overcommitted. And we may use this to our advantage here. The King of Denmark charging in at some Drazina, Danish general I should say, and they do surround them. And arrows flitting in overhead, targeting the Danish general here. But they do catch this one unit. So the Kingdom of Denmark trying to make some plays here. Now the infantry battle heating up as some Drazina are charging in against the Danish infantry. And we can see some good hand-to-hand action over here, guys. Drazina taking on the Danes. And my crossbows now unleashing some missiles here, trying to find some targets. And starting to score kills here, 7 kills here, 12 kills here, 11 over here. And what's left of my cavalry has rallied here. And we are trying to move in now. This looks like Donalavi's crossbows are moving in here. Set up a nice position. And we do have a fallen general here. And this looks like Coastal Plays general, the second of the Rus generals. Now, Nevsky's unit, who I almost took out, he's still shaking. He's got 17 men left out of 60. He is still alive. So he is still on the field. And it looks like he's trying to turn here and hit the Danish flank this time instead of the Teutonic flank. So the general here, poised and ready. Danish infantry getting swarmed here by the Rus. You see the Danes on the left, the Rus on the right over here. Battling it out on the ice.
Enemy units have been rallied.
And some of these Samlander swordsmen now here of the Teutonic Order in hand-to-hand, taking on some of these very tough Garberdouche axemen, but they do seem to be doing a good job. And we have more Garberdouche here taking on the Danes. And the axemen of the Rus on the right, the Danes here breaking and running. And we have Alexander Nevsky's unit shaking as well, wavering a little bit, moving around. And now some Samlander swords are moving in. They will have to take on the Garberdouche. Oh, looks like some repositioning going on here as the guard reducer pulled out. More swords being thrown in here. The Samlander swords charging in against the Rus. All right.
Our allies are running.
And these spears being moved up here now. To help the swords. The Brabanzanens are battling as well here against these guard reduce. Now we do have Sindrazine moving out of Kiev. Well, this is a pretty healthy unit. They have 51 kills. 37 men left out of Kiev. And crossbow here have a little sort of safe area, and they are firing away here. Kiev unit with 13 kills. We have another one over here with 16. That's sort of only 4. And there's more over here. So forming a little ring almost, it looks like, as now the Teutonic swords are starting to tire and the spears are moving up. We do have some axemen being sent in from the flank here, trying to move in. And I do have my cav on the move again. The remnants of my cav. This unit, 130 kills, but only 21 men left. And here we do have the axemen trying to circle in from this flank. And let's see if they can actually catch some of these. Yes, they do catch some of these crossbows. And we see a man go down there. As another unit crashes into some infantry here of the Rus. And oh my goodness, what a decapitation that was. Very brutal. But on the side here, we do have the Knights of the Teutonic Order, the Livonian Order rather, charging and bowling into the back of that missile unit and pulling out here so as not to engage the infantry. But they pull out right into another charge to the backs of some men, and they form up actually before they will lances down and just roll over this infantry unit with a beautiful charge, and that completely breaks them as they are surrounded. So some nice hammer on anvil there.
Enemy units have returned to the battle.
I do have to pull out some crossbows. They're a little too close to the action. But now the Teutonic spears taking on these swords. The guard reduce are charging them from the side, but more spears are charging it as well. And the Teutonic general here, the general of the Livonian Order rather, stuck fighting some cavalry here from Kiev. So that is sort of a tough spot for the general to be in. He could probably handle himself, but these polearms will help him, and as will this unit of knights that is circling around. The Kiev player is throwing in some spears here, but the polearms are going to cut them off. And these knights of the Teutonic Order with a nice charge into the ranks of Kiev, into the ranks of the Rus. It was actually Novgorod was one of the principalities that was at war here, not Kiev. Although in this game you can only really control Kiev. I'm going to call them the Rus. But this cavalry breaks as it is triple teamed here. The second unit with a nice charge, and it bowls over some polearms here. I think that was Coastal Plays with a great charge to a polearm unit that was not set and does lose a lot of men here. At least 25 on that charge. Now Nevsky here on the side with another charge, and he does bowl over some of these missiles. But now he's taking missile fire from another unit. And we do have the Danish general here. C is controlling the Danish general, and he's trying to charge in and finish off the last general of Kiev.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
And it looks like he does pull out there, and he might be content to use his missiles against them. This Mount of Drazina will try to help him, but looks like he's just getting picked off. Too many casualties from missiles here. And yep, and that unit does break. So unlike in history, Nevsky is off the field here in our battle. And just a huge mass of men fighting along this new frontier. Teutonic Order taking on the Rus. And we'll go back again. The Rus on the right, the Teutonic Order on the left.
Broken and are fleeing.
Teutonic Order starting to pick up some kills here. So the battle here, the Danish still have some forces left. We see some knights over here of Denmark with 180 kills. Very good work by C. A bow unit here, his general is still alive. And some of these units that have rallied on the side, this one actually breaks
Our men have given up and are
against
running
Coastal
for their
Plains
lives.
men, but we does have a general here. So both of the generals alive for the Teutonic Denmark alliance. Some of the Teutonic troops starting to break on the side here, but both the Rus generals off the field, and now there is a 600-man difference in favor of the Teutonic Danish alliance. You have more swords charging in here, both Danish and Teutonic swords surrounding this Drazina unit. Let's take a look at cinematic view as this battle proceeds here. And some axes now. What's left of an axe unit does break that unit.
Our men run from the enemy. This is shameful.
We do have the Teutonic general circling here. These players trying to protect their crossbows here by keeping them to the outside, but it does look like, mostly due to that frantic scramble at the beginning, they don't have enough cav now, the Rus, to really get this going, and both of their generals are off the field. These crossbows just firing away with the Livonian Order.
Enemy units have rallied and returned to the battle.
Firing away, guys, at whatever targets they can find. 45 kills here, 44 here, 62 here, 58 there.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
And the Danish general is thinking that this might be the time to go for one last gigantic charge. As the News Titans here, with the Teutonic Order on one side, the Danes on the other, but this might be a little bit of a rash move by the bodyguard of the general. They do score some kills there on a big charge, and they're going to break that unit, but they are surrounded now. So let's take a look at this Danish general surrounded by enemy infantry. And he's wavering now. Down to 11 men.
Our men are breaking off.
Trying to pull out. And that's it. He's off the field. Danish general off the field. So only one left, and that's the Grand Master of the Livonian Order here. The Rus with a desperate charge into Teutonic shields, trying to break through here. You have these very elite sword brothers now engaged to the final reserves of the Teutonic infantry. They're charging into the fray.
The unit is running from the enemy.
And we see the sword brothers there fighting. And the Grand Master himself charging in to the back of the spear unit, and that will cause a break as well, bowling over some men there. That unit is breaking, and it looks like the Rus are breaking all over the map, guys. And that's it. Unlike in history, it looks like the Teutonic Order and their Danish allies do pull out the win here in our version of the battle on the ice here. And this may be the last unit, and it does break as well. And there we go, guys. Battle on the ice. Another fantastic 2-on-2 land battle. We do have some stats here, so let's take a quick look. So first we'll go over my army here. General with 132 kills, still about 3/4 of the unit alive. My shock infantry all wiped out. Some of them with good numbers here, 124. Some of them a little bit less so. The spear infantry, not the best number of kills here. I mean, I do have a unit with 144, but I mean, some of them are pretty low, 58, 55. But most of them still have about half a unit or 3/4 of a unit left. So overall, a pretty good job on their end. The pole arms, one unit I remember lost a significant amount of men to a charge by, I think it was Donalavi from the Rus. And not the greatest numbers, but most of them are still alive as well at the end of the battle. These swords, the medium swords, did get wiped out almost completely. Some of these units with good numbers here, 137, some of them 71, which is not that bad for a medium sword. And then the elite swords, very much alive at the end of the battle. I mean, they only lost a handful of men combined between these three units. And because they were reserves, their kill numbers are lower here, 44, 56, 58. But again, most of the unit, the vast majority of the men are still alive. So, you know, so they definitely, you know, could have killed a lot more if there were more enemies, you know, left to kill. And then these crossbows here, actually pretty good numbers considering most of them are also alive. 99 kills here, 70, 90, and 69. And then the Teutonic Knights themselves, so these guys had to fight some pretty deadly cav and also some infantry, which was also pretty solid. But they did do fairly well, most of them. 140 kills here, 176, which is very good. But then down to 32 here, which is disappointing for such an elite unit. Overall, I think a pretty good battle by me. I would say I could have gotten involved a little earlier. For sure, I think that was one of the things I you know, could have done better in this battle. That said, my ally and I started so far apart from each other that you know, it was probably to our disadvantage. On the other hand, they may have overcommitted as a cause of that, and that worked to our advantage. So let's look at C's army here. His general was taken off the field, but did get 192 kills. That might be the most in this game, yes. I think it is, although he's off the field, like I said. My general here, only 132 kills, but still alive at the end of the battle. I think the only one that wasn't taken off the field. But back to C's army, he has 192 kills, which is the most in the game, so very good job on the general. His shock infantry, pretty weak numbers, but these are not very strong shock infantry. They are not the heavy shock infantry. So you can't expect big numbers from these men. His spear huskarls here, some decent numbers, 71 kills here, 59 over here, almost all wiped out at the end of the battle. Pole arms, I don't believe they were set. They must have just ran into combat or been run into from the flank or something, because these are units that if they are facing the right way and they are set, they can certainly hold off big numbers of men, but he lost both of these units. And then the Huskarls kind of up and down, 26 down here, which you want to see more of, but then he's got a unit of 62, then he's down to 5 over here, and then he's got like 101 over here, which is very good. So kind of up and down. Oh, and I see another unit, 132, that was still alive at the end of the battle, so and earned an experience point. So like I said, up and down on these units. The bows, you know, some of them still alive at the end of the battle, some of them completely wiped out with low kill numbers. And then he does have this knight unit, which, oh my goodness, that is just a tremendous amount of kills. 359 kills by this Danish knight unit, and still alive at the end of the battle. These two units taken off the field. So overall, you know, C, I think, was in a rough spot because he was attacked 2-on-1 because he was so far away from me, and maybe didn't realize what was going on until the trap was sprung. But like I said, he made a nice recovery. He made a nice recovery and pulled out the victory here with me. So Dona Levy of the Rus here. We have Nevsky with his Knyazgard, 173 kills, which is the most on the Rus team as far as generals or cav, actually. So very good numbers here. And then his Guard Berdouche Axemen. These are the heavy shock infantry, that you can compare like the lighter ones to, and they just don't stack up. These guys are just machines. 153 kills, 177, and 249 kills. All of them completely wiped out. As you can see, pretty much his whole army completely wiped out. So Donut really did give it his all. Some of his spears with phenomenal numbers here. 135 for a medium spear unit. I mean, that is pretty solid. 108 over here. Some of them a little bit less. This unit actually might have had a few survivors, and same with this one at the end, but they probably just broke and ran. The dismounted Drazina, again, this is only a medium melee unit, but it is a pretty tough one. This unit, 209 kills. Very good numbers. I mean, phenomenal numbers. Completely wiped off the battle. 133 kills. Again, very good numbers. 115. So Donalavi, just tremendous game here. He does bring a lot of Bohemian troops here to the field. Some of the Bohemian mercenaries. Crossbows, again, could have had better numbers, but 55, 57, not bad. And then his Cav, again, he threw those in to try to attack the Kingdom of Denmark, and some of them with decent numbers here, 80 kills, but overall, maybe that was an overcommitment on the part of Coastal Plays and Donut Lovey. Coastal Plays here did lose his general, 9 kills to his name, scoring some really good numbers with the shock infantry, 193 here, 57 here, and 105 here. This unit's still fully alive at the end of the battle after 105 kills. That just lets you know how strong this unit is and how well he used them. So good job for his shock infantry. Spears, not the best numbers, but 71 over here and still alive at the end of the battle. And then 117 for this unit of Spear Bogatiri. So good numbers here. This unit maybe wasn't as involved with only 1 kill, but mostly still alive. We do have some of these mercenary swords, 73 kills here, 38, but then down to 1 over here. His missiles, also kind of like the other Rus missiles, not really involved too much. He does have a few units surviving, though, among the missiles, so they could have, potentially, if his army didn't break, his general didn't die, they could have potentially got some more kills with these men. And then the Cav here, looks like he lost this unit. This unit with 69 kills, so pretty good numbers. This unit 57 kills. Overall, again, I think some really good things like his plays with his shock infantry and some of the spear units he had. But overcommitting, I think, to, you are supposed to try to take advantage of mistakes, and certainly Coastal and Donut did try to do that. But for some reason, it just didn't go their way. That's just sometimes, that's just how the battle turns out. You never know. You never know. So great battle, guys. Again, not the way it went down historically where the Rus won, but for our version here, the Livonian Order and the Kingdom of Denmark do pull out the win. Hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did, and we'll see you next time here with Midnight Games Online.